Welcome to a very special conversation. I'm in conversation with Mr. Reuven Azar, Ambassador of Israel to India. So thank you so much for speaking to us at a time when there is a lot of focus in terms of the new Gaza plan that your government has spoken about. Date and timelines are yet to be sort of finalized. But even before any of that, there is a lot of global backlash that has come in, with many, including those in Israel itself, saying that this may not really solve the fundamental problem, which is removal and complete destruction of Hamas. Your reaction, sir?
Well, Hamas has not given up its weapons. Our aims are very clear. We want to make sure that Hamas cannot attack us again. For that, they have to renounce their weapons and leave the Gaza Strip, and they have to bring back our hostages. Now, if they are unwilling to do this diplomatically, we will have to take military action. And this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take Gaza City, which is the epicenter of Hamas stronghold in the Gaza Strip.
What is the kind of ground ops that we are talking about? How soon will that happen? And is there planning that has already taken place for all of it?
Well, there is military planning going on. I think that we don't have a date for the commencement, but we know this is going to be a long operation because we are talking here about a city. And we know from taking Rafah and from taking the northern part of the Gaza Strip, places like Jabalia and Bet Hanun, that Hamas is booby-trapping every street and every edifice. So that's why we have to destroy, all these structures, because they are booby-trapping. There's a lot of underground installations. So this is going to be slow, it's going to be cautious, and the first thing we have to do is to take the population out.
Where do they go?
Well, we have designated areas that we are planning in the southern Gaza Strip, where they can get access to humanitarian assistance, to food, and to medical services.
But sir, help us understand, isn't the whole point that there is a lot of people in those camps there? There is about 1 million plus people there. Where will all of them go if these ground operations come so deep inside the city?
Well, they will have to go to other places, and as I said, we have allocated that. We are speeding up the humanitarian effort. Today, and I'll give you just the facts, we had 350 trucks entered Gaza Strip in the last 24 hours. We had more than 130 airdrops. And we're having the Gaza Humanitarian Fund that is supplying 1.5 million meals per day. So that effort is going to continue. Israel has a clear policy of trying to bring relief to the population, despite the fact that the aid has been sequestrated by Hamas, and despite the fact that Hamas usually shoots at people at the humanitarian centers and shoots at people that want to evacuate to safe areas. So all that is being planned because we want to minimize civilian casualties. But we are determined, Gaurie. We don't have any choice. We have to defend ourselves. We won't agree for Hamas to come back to put a menace to our borders, to our communities, to our people. And therefore, if they don't want to stop the war, which can happen today, if they renounce their weapons, they have been defeated. They don't have a military machinery that they had before.
But they have the hostages.
But they have the hostages. And if they, and they are, hiding behind civilians, they are basically melting themselves into the population centers, into the refugee areas. If they continue that, the war will be prolonged.
War is already going on since 7th of October 2023, after that attack, that heinous attack. But as things stand right now, many people in Israel themselves are saying that this may not solve the first and most important point, which is bringing back those hostages.
Well, we've seen that in a combination of military pressure and diplomacy, we have been able to retrieve 205 hostages, 148 of them alive. So this system of putting military pressure and negotiating has given fruit. Unfortunately, we failed to do a deal in the last few weeks because Hamas has launched a very successful campaign as if Israel is starving the Gazan people, which is not the case. There have been a lot of fake news, including pictures of children that were suffering from genetic diseases and other diseases that were not starving, but the Western media bought into it. So what happened...
After that, now you're going to come and take control of Gaza City.
We don't have no choice. These things are prolonging the war. If people continue to believe to Hamas lies, this war will continue. So we have to be in a situation in which we get rid of Hamas rule. I think that no reconstruction of Gaza and no serious future for Gaza can happen as long as Hamas is there.
Today we are also talking on a day when there have been journalists that have been killed. The organization is somebody that I don't speak much about simply because they have a very strong agenda against India. But I want to speak about the journalists. Those 5 journalists have been killed even before those massive ground ops have actually begun. Many say, is this a precursor to what lies ahead? Because this is what Israeli ground ops inside Gaza City will be all about. More civilian casualties, more media and more journalists being attacked and killed in the entire process. Your response?
Gaurie, this is another example of the deceit that is coming from Hamas. We have targeted a terrorist whose name is Anas al-Sharif, who was a listed member of the Hamas military wing and a commander of a cell in Jabalia. And this guy, who was also an Al Jazeera journalist, was military trained by the military wing of Hamas. So Hamas is disguising itself as journalists, as medical teams, as aid workers, in order to try to deceive the international community. Each time they put their terrorists, we have to be, by now, after 22 months, people have to understand.
Yeah.
No journalist can really work freely in Gaza if he's not a member of Hamas or he doesn't pay allegiance to Hamas. Now, we didn't just target somebody for paying allegiance to Hamas. We targeted Anas al-Sharif because he was a military operative. And we have proof of that because we have actually captured the intelligence materials from the intelligence arm of Hamas that was sitting under a UN installation. Okay? So we have to stop thinking and thinking that Hamas is playing clean and buying all this information that is coming from agencies that are trying to portray something that is not true.
So a lot of this is exactly what it was at the beginning of the conflict, right? Hamas needs to be decimated, hostages need to be brought back. Gaza City still runs because of the way Hamas wants to run it. They are mingling within the civilian enclaves. All of that is still the same. So the question I come back to ask what I started, which is that will it really solve your problem 22 months into the conflict? Any lessons and learnings that you can now incorporate to ensure that this gets done?
So, well, first of all, we have had a lot of advances. We are now controlling about 70% of the territory of the Gaza Strip. We have destroyed the Hamas military machinery, both their missiles, their missile factories, their battalions and their regiments. What is left is a situation in which thousands of Hamas operatives, on top of the 25,000 that we have killed, are hiding themselves behind civilians, are in underground areas, are in densely urban population centers, mainly 2 centers that we still haven't taken. One is Gaza City itself, and the second is the central area and southern area near the shores of Gaza. And we are going to target Gaza City because we believe that this is actually the center of power that Hamas has.
What if you're not able to...
Well, then we'll have to take the entire Gaza Strip. At the end of the day...
You take then the entire Gaza City?
Yes.
The entire strip, in fact?
The entire strip, yes. If Hamas continues to refuse to disarm and to give us back the hostages, Israel will have no choice but take the entire Gaza Strip. So now we are going to one of the centers of power that Hamas still has. They are hiding under buildings in Gaza City. That is going to be a pretty heavy operation. And we are doing it very cautiously. First of all, we have to make sure that we can take the population, the civilians, out of that, and then we are going to embark in doing it. Okay. At the end of the day, Israelis know very well we don't have any choice because we don't want Hamas terrorists to go back to our villages and to stand on our borders. What they wanted to do, why did they refuse the deal that was proposed by the Americans? Because they want complete withdrawal from Israel so they can rearm and regroup. Israel will not agree to that.
All right, final question then. Is there some sort of a timeline in place? I'll tell you why. Because, if you're talking about if not this, then take over the entire Gaza Strip. Then what you're talking about is disregard for the civilians.
On the contrary, the civilians are going to be safe if they have unhindered access to humanitarian assistance. This is what Hamas is preventing them from having. So as much as Israel takes over more and more chunks of territory, then the civilian population can get more access to food, more access to medical relief. Israel is very clear, and the Prime Minister stated that yesterday. We do not want to control the Gaza Strip permanently, and we want a more moderate Palestinian government.
Who will do it? How long will they do it?
So we are discussing
the structure. None of that is clear, right?
Well, it is actually to a certain extent. What we are doing now is that we are bringing alternative forces. Some of them already started operating, like for example the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation that is supplying 1.5 million meals per day. We are going to expand the points from 4 to 16 so people have more access to food. We want to be in a situation, and we are discussing that with our American friends, that there will be a patronage under American umbrella. There will be a patronage of Arab players and Palestinians that do not want to fight Israel more than they want to build their own future. We hope to be able to achieve that.
Hope is the only note at which we can end this, because some of the plans that you've outlined in terms of Israel for ensuring that Hamas is completely decimated, which could mean taking over the entire strip, is actually something that's deeply disturbing at a level, because there are so many lives that are at stake. It's not just about access to humanitarian aid, it's about access to permanent shelter, which gets completely impacted.
And this can end today, Gaurie.
Okay, so that's, as I said, hope is the note on which we end this. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Ambassador,
Thank you very
for
much.
speaking to me. Well, viewers, that was Mr. Reuven Azar, Ambassador of Israel to India, speaking to NDTV about Israel's game plan in terms of ensuring that Hamas is decimated, no matter what the cost may end up being. Thank you so much for watching this special conversation.